I'm so excited today. I know I said that, but y'all don't understand the excitement level because the first video back, right, in the whole year-long series is a very good friend of mine, a brother to me, my guy, Shel Simon, Chief Programming Officer. Next one up. I'm not going to tell you what next one up is. Just know it's something super dope in the city. Me and Sheldon go way back to the 90s, man. We met in middle school at St. Ignatius Loyola Academy, which is a Jesuit all-boys school dedicated to helping inner-city kids. And it's funny, it's kind of like foreshadowing. So once you hear what Shel's story is, I think you're going to see why we met there and how God does things, man, later in life to kind of bring things back full circle. But without further ado, let me get to the point of being here, which is highlighting people to the dopest things going on in the city. Sheldon, or as I can call you, Shel. Now that I'm done my professional.
You done put my whole government out there.
Well, it's gonna be out there anyway. You can't work for what you listen, man. You can't do what you do in your government out there. So good. You go. I don't know, man.
It's funny. That's how I know. I can't even remember the last time my mom's called me Sheldon, but
you be alright, man. You be alright.
Everybody know me as Shel, or my guys in my program, they call me Coach Shel.
Coach Shel. Right. Coach Shel. So who are you, Coach Shel, and where are you from?
I'm Shel Simon. Some know me as Coach Shel, but I'm just a kid, from West Baltimore, man.
For the record, we're way more than 6 feet apart because we definitely giving respect to social distancing, even in our professionalism. So make sure you know that we all follow the CDC guidelines. Okay. So Shel, where are you from? And who are you? Who are you, man? Tell the people who you are.
Man, I'm Shel Simon, better known as Coach Shel to some. I'm just a guy from West Baltimore. Grew up on North Avenue, North and Monroe. Fulton,
West Side.
West Side all day, man. But growing up, I went to Matthew A. Henson. That was, my stomping grounds, back then. I can remember, Easterwood, playing baseball. Shout out to my man Marlon that went the same neighborhood.
Yeah, all right,
that's my guy. But yeah, man, I'm just a guy from West Baltimore that was blessed with a number of opportunities that put me where I am today. Being a chief programming officer at Next One Up, a dope, program in Baltimore City, servicing student athletes, all young men and their families.
Shel, man, I know you said you're from West Baltimore. I'm definitely from West Baltimore. Baltimore isn't necessarily known to be the greatest city in America, despite what the benches say, right? Mm-hmm. But if you had to think of one time, in the entire, time you've been here on Earth thus far, what was the most difficult time that you recall encountering that made you really step back and look at life, and then how did you overcome it?
Really, just growing up in the city without a father. My mom's had me when she was 16 years old. In a lot of ways, I always tell my mom I'm proud of her because in a lot of ways, I've seen her grow up. I feel like we've grown up together. So just being raised in the city, without that father figure. But also, another challenging moment when my son was born. I was, the week before I turned 21, I was blessed with a son. So, at that point, I was going into my junior year at Morgan State University. I kind of dropped everything and just started working because I was like, man, I need money to support this new family that I have. And my outlook on life really changed at that point. So, yeah, those were some challenging moments, for me personally.
Change your life. Kids will definitely change your life, man. When I first had my daughter in 2008, and I thought everything was a game until she came, and it was a scary time because it's different when you got somebody else's kids, but then when you responsible for your own kids, like what type of legacy you gonna leave? So I definitely feel that, even though I think your son will be a better athlete than you. Say that on the record.
We're gonna see, man. You on varsity as a freshman, so
he a problem. Shout out to nephew Sky. He a problem. So about 7 years ago, I recall you wanting to do something different in life outside of your current job, whatever it was that field at the time. You correct me if I'm wrong. I think you were doing pharmacy or something like that. Yep. But like 7 years ago, you decided to do something different, low key, and then about 3 years ago, it became high key. So what happened in your current line of work that you're doing, and why? And are you still doing it today? Like present day?
So right, 7 years ago, I was in the pharmaceutical industry, pharmaceutical manufacturing.
Good pharmaceutical.
Not
Make that clear. Okay. Make that clear when people like us 410. Okay, you are in Baltimore. People like, what kind of pharmacy you did?
At the time, I was making a drug for cancer patients with brain tumors.
Wow.
For a company called Azi, a Japanese company here in Baltimore called Azi.
Wow.
So that was the most recent pharmaceutical company I had worked for. But 7 years ago, I had met, the founder of Next One Up, a guy by the name of Matt Hanna. At the time, he was a 30-something-year-old white guy, doing this, awesome work in Baltimore. But at first, I was very skeptical of him. I was just like, man, who's this white dude? What is he gaining?
Right.
He wasn't from here. He was from upstate New York, went to Hopkins. And I was like, man, like, what is this dude?
Sound real scam-like.
Right, like, how's he profiting off of, off his work in the city? And what I quickly learned was that, he was just a genuine dude that, that really wanted to see equality and grow opportunities for young inner city young men. And I quickly saw that we served the young man, that I once was. So I was like, man, I got to be a part of this. And, that's kind of where that relationship developed and started my work with Next One Up.
Wow. Powerful. So clearly you are still here based off of all the positive things you were saying, but we haven't really talked about what is Next One Up. You talked about what was the goal. Everybody makes goals. You meet 1,000 people, say, I'm gonna start a business. This is what I want to do. So please enlighten people as to what Next One Up is and what is it currently doing in Baltimore.
So Next One Up is a long-term mentorship program for student athletes, all young men. We recruit young men at the 7th grade level, so around age 12, 13. And we're sticking with these young men through the age of 25. So when we say long-term mentorship...
So these like picking up a child, like adopting a child.
I feel like, and it's funny you say that because I feel like I have 100 sons, man, outside of, my own.
Right.
But, man, we really connect with these young men to build relationships with them, and not only just them, their families, because we understand that it's a village, man. It takes a village to raise these young men. And so what we do is essentially we offer a 6-day of school. It sounds crazy, but these young men, they come to me on Sundays for a full day of programming, and we just attack everything from life skills, athletic training, leadership development.
Wow.
These are all things we're in the community doing community service, and we're really trying to push these young men to be the future leaders of Baltimore City.
So you had an idea. People, I'm a numbers guy. People, all that sounds great. So I'm just thinking about the culture we're in, the climate we're in. Roughly, if you could take a wild shot, in your time there, about how much money and development has went into Next One Up that poured into the youth of the city?
It's hard to say, man, because now we're at a healthy position as a nonprofit where we're $1 million, operating program annually now. So it's hard to.
So basically in the millions. They're basically in the millions. So this is $1 million thing.
Yeah. And
wow.
part of what we do is, with our middle school guys, is helping to, build them up so that by the time they get in the 8th grade. We're helping with that high school placement process because we know that the educational system, here in Baltimore, is not the greatest. To be frank,
it's not right.
We have a lot of work we got to do, and so we have to build the foundational skills of these young men to help propel them academically. And what we try to do is make sure that they're placed in the right schools that fit them, whether it be private schools, some of the best public schools that we have to offer, the cities, the polys. So we're really helping with that whole process.
So is it safe to say, as we conclude this portion of it, as far as what Next One Up is that us meeting was meant for us to meet now, and us being in a school that was designed to do the same thing for us is what motivates you, because you look very motivated. You know what I mean with this. I see you, I literally see you, doing this. So is it safe to say that this was all part of God's plan?
Yeah, man. When I look back at our days at St. Ignatius, man, I love the motto of that school. And the mantra, be a man for others.
Yep.
I've really taken that mantra and lived by it, man, and everything that I'm doing. And, I believe so much in the things that I learned at St. Ignatius, and I really try to implement those things in this Next One Up program that I run, man. And young men are gravitating to it. And now I see them going out into the community, and being activists and being advocates, change agents. I believe strongly that, if we want to see change, we got to be that light. And that's all I'm trying to do, be for next one up.
Amen. So, you so Baltimore. Crab cakes or crab legs?
Crab cakes, man.
Nah, come on, man. Come on, man. You can't order no butter, you know what I mean, for crab cakes. You gotta get the butter with the man.
You said crab legs or crab cakes.
I know, man. I'm saying you're supposed to go with the crab legs, man.
Put a little, cocktail sauce on it.
Do you put mustard on your crab cakes?
Nah.
Bluffing. All right, let me get back focused. You done disturbed my peace. Let's catch my zen. All right, so we done talked about all this serious stuff and joking stuff, but the main point remains the same. You love kids. And with that being said, if you coming from West Baltimore, coming from a single parent household where your mother was your best friend, y'all watched each other grow up. You've been in this program, you're dealing with kids, you basically with them from age 13 to age 25. They're like extra sons on top of your son.
Yeah.
What do you tell these kids watching this? What do you tell them being a product of Baltimore and being the opposite of what's portrayed in the news?
Man, I just let them know, and I say this often to my guys in my program, man, it's greatness in each and every one of you. Part of my job, part of our jobs, even with the work that you're doing, man, is to unlock, that greatness within these youth. They're going to be the change agents of this city. They're going to be our future leaders. We putting them in a position right now. I hate asking kids, like, what do you want to be when you grow up? Nah, what do you want to be now? So that by the time you get to be an adult, you already making an impact in this world, in this city. So, I just let our young men know in my program, it's greatness in each and every one of you. And I'm just trying to, tap that greatness and help unlock it,
Wow. Man, I don't want this interview to end. Mainly because it's my first one in like 3 years, man. But no, because we can go on and on and on, man. We just got so much history, almost 26 years of history, man. We had between each other, and that's so hard to come by. And with that being said, it's hard to find that in the city. It's not hard to find genuineness, but it seems like Baltimore is a rough spot, to be in. But I see the beauty in it, and a lot of people don't though, and a lot of people are leaving Baltimore. So, two-part question, you can answer however you want. Where do you see yourself in the next 5 years? Where do you see Baltimore? I'm sorry. Where do you see Baltimore in the next 5 years? And then where do you see yourself in the next 5 years? Like, will you be here?
Well, as far as Baltimore, man, I hope that we just thriving as a city. I hope that we get out of the limelight for the negativity. The murder rate is always,
the STD rate
is in the spotlight.
Every day.
And even recently with Dante Barksdale being murdered,
Rest in peace. Big ups.
That kind of hit because I'm just like, man, a guy that's really trying to, evoke change in the city.
One of us.
Only be taken away, from the same thing that he's trying to change. So I just hope that we're in a better place and we see our young men, our men leading families and just thriving. As far as myself, I'm gonna be here, man.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
I'm gonna be going to work, man.
Yeah.
Work to see the change that needs to happen. I lived in North Carolina for 2 years, back in 2009 to 2011, and in those 2 years, I learned a lot about myself. And one of the things that I learned was that my real passion was for Baltimore.
Yeah.
I didn't want to. If people like myself leave the city, who's going to be around to change it? Who's going to be around to I hate to say save it, but who's going to be around to help make those changes? So I'm gonna be here, man. I'll be here doing the same work, hopefully by the grace of God.
Well, guess what, brother? Through the grace of God, I'll be right here with you, fighting the good fight, and that's why I wear Be More Like Us. That's what Be More Like Us stands for. That's what Be More Like Us 410 stands for, and the 410 is the area code. In case y'all ain't know. With that being said, it's Be More Like Us 410. Make sure y'all like, click, and subscribe. Kick the bell. Remember to kick the bell with the clicker, right? And make sure that you also follow Be More Soulful Inc. on Instagram, which is my nonprofit where I give out free shoes to families in need, especially in the inner city. So if you're in need of any type of shoes and clothing, sometimes we do have clothing, please be sure to reach out to us and make sure you fight the comment battle below for who's going to win the free item, who's going to have the dopest comment. I'm excited. Who's going to have the dopest comment? But listen, I love y'all. If you're interested in being on the show, you have a cool story, a dope story, or you know somebody that's popping in the city, maybe somebody that's not popping, that needs a little bit more recognition, This is their home, man. We out.